How y'all doing? CJ the Smart Guy with you. And today I have a great guest on. He's a cryptocurrency trader, not just an amateur. He's a professional in this game, been in it for a while, strong diamond hands. He's also a moderator with the Black Bitcoin Billionaires Club. And I met him on tour with Najah Roberts in Atlanta. So Jakumi Randolph, thank you for coming on. How are you doing today?
Hey man, appreciate you, bro. We're doing really good. We're doing really well. Bitcoin's down, but that's all right, man. I'm feeling good right now.
Why do you say that's all right? You got other people out here. They're scared. They're selling. How come you feel good while the price is going down?
Cause man, whenever there's blood in the streets, like some folks say, man, that's when you look for the opportunities. I think the Chinese had a phrase and a kanji called wei che, and that is two different kanji, and one of them means opportunity, but overall it stands for like chaos. One of them stands for opportunity though if you used it alone. So I learned that a while back when I started trading options, man. I heard it from the guy.
That's that yin and the yang. If
Yeah.
one perspective is this way, from another it's a different way.
Mm-hmm.
So
So inside of chaos there's opportunity. So that's why I always look for the opportunity.
Gotcha. What opportunities are you looking for right now, if I may ask?
So as far as Bitcoin is concerned, I'm looking for price levels below 33. So 33,000, that's a great place for me. If I look a little bit below that, the worst I could see Bitcoin dropping would be 28,000. If it dropped to that, but if it dropped to 28,000, it's still in play. I can't see it dropping much below that, because if it did, then something else is going on with the economies of the world.
Okay.
That's the only way I could see it going past that point.
Yeah, I know Russia, they just banned all cryptocurrency trading over there. Also, that man China, it feels like they're kind of nervous. So
yeah, that FUD is real, but it doesn't matter if they ban it because there's so many other places on the planet. So I think we're good.
For sure. Okay, so I just dropped my Atlanta episode podcast. And you came out there. How was meeting up at the Black House in Atlanta at Najah's speech? How was that for you?
That was cool, because I hadn't been back to the Black House since I toured it before they opened it. So I was actually able to get to tour it before they opened it, because I was one of the early investors in the TREF with Jay Morrison. So I was able to actually tour it. I've hung out with Jay. He's a good dude. He's a good dude as far as I know. And the Black House is nice, man.
Yeah,
and that was the first time I got to see it, like it completely finished. And then also it had like the names of the people that contributed to it, so my name was there, and that was the first time I actually saw it.
That's what I was about to ask you. I was like, oh, so your name is actually not tattooed, but it's like engraved on the wall.
Yeah, my name is on there, so if you go out there you can see my name is there.
How's that feel to be a part of history?
Hey man, it feels good, man. It feels great. Me, my brother and I, we both contributed to it, and they put it up, and it's cool. And we do get, like, I think we recently got some dividends from it. Some people were saying like, oh, people invested money and they ain't getting nothing back from it. I was like, not really. I just got a dividend recently, so I think it was last year sometime.
Yeah,
but
I feel like whenever we do something for us, there's always some type of negative, something, media attention, just small mistakes turn into, oh, it's a ripoff, it's a scam.
I mean, he got investigated by the state, so or by the government, so he passed through that, so it's got to be good.
He got to be good, because that was coming for him.
They're coming for him. So what I'm saying, that brother had to go through surgery. He had some different issues, but he's back healthy. He's got a little baby girl. As a matter of fact, we gave him one of my wife is an author. She's got a book called Melanoid Breast Milk, and so we gave him one of the books. His wife was using the book, breastfeeding and everything, so that was cool too.
Yeah,
So
nice. How is your family? I know you got like a bunch of kids over there. You got a whole tribe, whole family.
oh,
How's the family doing?
the family's doing well. Everybody's doing what they do. The little girls, they're in ballet and in dance. The oldest two, they're in different arts. So one's a writer kind of slash, she wants to do like TV shows and things like that, movies. And then the other one, he's more of an artist where he actually does a lot of drawing and painting and stuff like that. So that's where he gets his groove. So
Nice. They all got that hair too. I was like, okay, I see y'all.
everybody's got hair. My son, he's got an afro right now, so I don't know if he wants to get locks or not, but all the other kids, they got locks. So
Okay. What's the story with your locks? What got you into to growing yours?
man, wow. I think when I got married, I think I just had a low cut, and we just started growing it, and then me and my wife, we both had low cuts when we got married.
Hmm.
So we just decided together that we was gonna try it out, and then we both started growing locks. So then I was growing my locks for about, I don't know, 7, 8 years. Um, my wife was growing hers for about the same time. She cut hers off and then started over. And then while she was started over, probably like 2 years after that, I went ahead and cut mine, and then I just started over. So I think right now I'm like maybe like 3.5, 4 years in now with
Yeah.
these locks. So before that though, they were longer like yours are right now. Like my
Okay.
locks are like that. I actually got a painting on my wall downstairs of me with my longer locks, and they were like, you can see it looks a lot like how yours look right now.
Yeah, man, that's cool. I know. Yeah. So you got the Black love journey with the locks. That's cool. I got the self freedom because I was working for the corporate America.
Oh,
These
okay.
these gray hairs. Look, I was like 25. They gave me gray hairs. I was like, let me out of here. I started growing my hair. The second I quit my job, I started growing my hair. I haven't cut them since.
Ah,
About
that's
5.5 years now.
that's what's up.
Yeah, freedom. I
Yeah.
think that's what we're all after. I don't want to have to go to a job where they say cut your hair. Like, you know, who are you to tell me to cut my hair? Like, what's that got to do with my work?
I know, right?
It actually reminds me of I used to work at Apple. I was like a business specialist there, and they were one of the first people that said that. They were like, "Hey, we don't care about your hair." So there was people there with pink hair,
Right.
mohawks, braids, and I was like, "Wow, this is really cool." I believe you said you used to work at Apple, right?
Yeah, actually, I still am working for Apple, right?
Okay.
I don't work as much, but I still work for Apple. And there I was a creative pro, so it would be my job to like get up in front of everybody. We had like a big giant, 60-foot screen, and I would teach people how to use like an iPhone or use a Mac, and so it was my job just to get out in front of people and speak. So
Okay. So
that's that's what I had been doing for like the last 16 years until the pandemic kind of happened. Some other things happened, and then I have been working from home
yeah.
ever since then.
So you were the one-on-one membership guy.
I was at first, yeah.
Yeah,
I've been working for Apple for 16 years.
man.
So I was with Apple before there was an iPhone.
Whoa. Okay, now that that puts it in
Uh,
perspective. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. There was no iPhone when I started working. All we sold were like Macs and iPods. That was it.
yeah, because I started working for Apple 2010-ish.
Yeah,
So
I had already been 5 years in the game by that time.
yeah, nah. Uh, I remember my first Apple product was like 2008, 9. I went to the Apple store at the Galleria in Houston, and the dude
Yeah,
there, he was like, "Hey, I know you're from California." I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Hey, I'm gonna give you this discount, and you gonna get a job here if you want." I was like, "For real?" He was like, "They're creating a Highland Village is just opening up, which is like right around this corner." He was
hmm
like, "Man, you're gonna give me this bonus. You're gonna work here, and you're gonna get this computer for a discount." I was like, "All right, cool." Next, I was working there, and it was the best experience. It was the best work experience I've ever had in my entire life working
right.
at Apple because I didn't feel any racism. I felt like they were just open. And then one of the things that, they used to say, they said, we don't hire smart people to tell them what to do. We hire smart people so that they could tell us what to do. And with that mindset, I was just like, you know what, this is a great company. Loved it. But then, I graduated and, took a job in my field, but forever Apple's like, man, I love Apple.
Yeah, I mean, it has been a decent company. It has its moments where it's not as decent, but
Yeah.
but for the most part, the company's pretty cool. They do, they've done a lot for me. They've helped me with some things, so I can't really say nothing bad about them. But it has its moments. Having a store down south is a little different, but
Yeah.
so.
When do you think they're gonna put Bitcoin on their balance sheet? What's up, Tim Cook?
That's a good question, bro. That is a good question, man. I've been asking myself that, because I know like last year they had a rec for somebody in the alternative currency space was on the rec. So I remember seeing that job posting. I almost applied, but I was like, nah, I'm probably gonna be leaving soon. So
I get you.
So at that point, I was already up, up in this crypto space. So I was like, I got one foot out the door now.
I get you. I know Michael Saylor, the CEO of MicroStrategy, February 1st and 2nd, he's got like a Bitcoin for corporations thing coming out. And so I think that as an accountant, there's a rule that says if you buy Bitcoin as an asset and you're a corporation, if it goes up, you can't mark it up. But if it goes down, you have to report that. And so a lot of CEOs are scared to buy it because if it goes down, they have to report that and they can get fired. If it goes up, they don't get any benefit. So that's why a lot of CEOs aren't buying it. And I think,
wow.
Yeah, I think in this meeting, he's trying to get a bunch of CEOs together to try to get that rule changed. And that's just on accounting stuff. This stuff is actually not even matter. It's just how we're accounting for it, but it winds up mattering in the back end. And so MicroStrategy.
I'm wondering, do they have to they have to report that? Do they have to put that in their filings for like their
Yep. Every quarter with SEC.
Quarterly? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so like say if they bought Bitcoin was at 60,000, and let's just say that today is March 31st, which is not, but let's just say it's March 31st, and they got to report, that quarter, they would have a huge 60,000 minus $35,000 loss.
Right.
That's an entire, and it's going to go on their income statement.
Right.
So it's going to show a big loss, and then on their balance sheet is going to show their asset last quarter compared to this quarter is down. And that most CEOs, they get based off of those two things, their performance. And so a lot of CEOs just see that and they're like, I'm not going to buy it. But if they change it to where, either it does a fair market value, meaning it goes up, they can report it. It goes down, they report it, just in real time. Or if they have it completely separate as just a digital asset, like, hey, we've got, 10 gold bars, or we've got 10 Bitcoins completely separate from a US dollar amount. Who knows how it goes, but I think that's what they're going to be talking about.
I wonder, is it the same for any of the other assets? Because gold had been on one for a second. So if they like if a company owned gold bars, I mean, that thing had been tanking like all of last year. It just now started popping up a little bit. And I think that's, akin to a lot of the fear that's in the market. People are trying to find an asset class where they can save their value. And that's really what it boils down to. Is like, where can I put my money where it saves its value, keeps its value? Because that's one of the reasons they say Bitcoin is a store of value, because it had been a great store of value, beating out all the other assets. So even now, even with this pullback, if depending on when you got in it, like if you got in below 20,000, you're still good. If you got in below, if you got in below 30,000, you're still good right now. So technically, everything's still good until.
Until. And that's the biggest thing. So, you being a trader, we have very different perspectives. I'm on the tax side. So when I see trading, all I see is tax ramifications going up and down, crazy stuff. But describe your experience as a trader, some of your strategies, You know, something that the people watching can learn from?
I mean, the one of the best things that you can do, you know, early as a trader is you have to figure out. When I figured this one thing out, it made me a better trader. One is to take the emotion away from it, and the way you take the emotion away is you make it all about numbers. So when you make it all about numbers, now we're talking about, okay, if I invest $1, right? What's the return I'm looking for on that $1? Typically, when I invest $1, I want that dollar to either turn to $2 or $3. So as a trader, every trade that I put on, I'm risking $1 to make at least $2 or $3 at least. Like if you're trading like that, you're never gonna go broke. So for example, if I have $100 in my account to trade with, right? The trade I'm in, I'm gonna risk $1. If I lose $1, I'm not gonna cry. You know, if I go to sleep, I can go to sleep at night.
Yeah.
If I have $100,000 and I'm risking 1,000, you know, 1,000 is not. I got $100,000. $1,000 is not gonna make or break me at the end of the day. And that's kind of how you have to look at it. Like before that, you know, I would put like, you know, $500 in an account, and I'd be like, okay, I got to make $100 today.
Yeah.
But not realizing that $100 out of 500, that's a lot. Because most people, they don't see percentages. So the way I trade is always based on percentage.
Yeah.
So I always want to get, you know, 3 to 5% out of the market every day. And then once I do that, I'm done. Like I don't need any more. If I can get 35, so make it about the numbers and break it down further and make it about the percentages. Because if you do that, you're going to be good. If you're always only risking $1 to make whatever the dollar amount you're trying to make, you'll be fine because, you know, at the end of the day, you only risk $1.
Yeah.
You didn't risk it all. The problem with most folks is they don't understand that. And when they get into the market, especially if they're playing with leverage, because the trading that we do, we play with leverage. And when you're playing with leverage, you have to be on point with what you're risking. So your risk always has to be on point. So I never risk more than 1 or 2%.
Smart. Yeah. So, I know people doing 30, 40, 50, 60% leverage.
It's not even about like how much leverage it is, right? Like you can have 1 to 100. You can have 100 leverage. So basically what that means is for every dollar you put in, they give you 100 that you can play with. That's cool. But you still got to know, even though I have this 1 to 100, I need to be at the end of the day, when I get into a trade, I'm only risking $1 to make $2 or $3.
I get you.
As simple as that. So it don't even matter what my leverage is.
Yeah.
Now, if my leverage allows me to, then now I can, and my entries are pinpoint and accurate, and I have very little drawdown. You know, I'm kind of more of a, I'm more of an intraday type of trader, not as much a swing trader. If I do swing, it's going to be really, really small. So maybe I may not even be risking $1. I might be risking like $0.25.
Got you.
Like if I'm trying to do a long swing. And so that's the kind of thing, like most people think trading is like exciting, but really it's boring because you're really doing a lot of waiting. Like my instructors always tell me that you're paid to wait, because you got to wait till it gives you what you're looking for. If it don't give you what you're looking for, you don't take a trade. You know, if you get excited and you want to take a trade, that's when you risk a quarter or you risk 10 cents. You risk a real small amount and just be like, okay, if it goes up from here based on, you know, something that you marked up, then cool. If not, it's not really ready for you to get in yet.
Yes, it's not as glamorous as Instagram makes it, where everybody's, oh, I made this from the trade, and they got all the graphs and the pictures on the yachts and things like that.
Nah, it's not, man. It's tough. It's tougher to do, man. And if it was easy, you know, more people would do it. But it's not easy because it plays on your emotions. Like people will start looking at those candles and they get emotional about it. They get emotional about the money, but you gotta separate the emotions from the numbers. Gotcha. So you have to be numbers oriented, because I can show you, like, I have like a breakdown in like my I think it's in numbers, the program. So in there, I have a breakdown of like the percentage of like wins and losses if you were like 1-to-1, and like what you would make based on the frequency of trades that you take.
Okay.
So like you could win, you could be like 50% 1-to-1. So when you win one, you lose one, you win one, you lose one, still come out on point.
Okay. Okay. So now people are looking at this, at 35,000. Some people are nervous, some people are scared. You said that the bottom, in your opinion, shouldn't go below 28,000. And so, what, as a trader, in the meantime, what are you doing right now? What are some of the safety precautions or the opportunities that you're taking while you believe it's going to continue to go down?
In the meantime, I'm only looking for sales.
Mm.
In the meantime, so that's the thing. That's the beauty about being a trader. Like, I can hold the asset, right? I can buy the asset. So I bought it when it was low. I can ride it up when it's going up. But in the times where it looks like there's a lot of selling pressure, I can take sales until it proves me wrong. Right? I can take sales until it proves me wrong. I know a dude that he only sells. Like, he's a trader. All he does is take sales. He doesn't buy anything. And then I know some other people where they have an account where they have buys, and they have another account where they have sales, and that's it. Like, in that one account, they only looking for sales.
When you say looking for sales, can you describe what that means?
So the type of trading I do, again, is leverage trading. So what you can do is you can actually take a sell on that asset, and the sales that we take are contracts for the difference.
So it's like a future. It's like a futures
yeah. So
contract.
basically, what you're doing is you're getting it at one price. You're getting it at one price. What you're saying when you take a sell is you're saying, hey, I believe it's going to be at a lower price. So at this price that I'm selling from, you actually have to buy it back from me at that price, no matter how low it goes. That's the contract for the difference.
So it's like short selling.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's exactly what it is. It's
Okay.
kind of like that, because I don't actually have to sell my asset. But the cool thing is, because the accounts that I use, they're started with Bitcoin, they have to pay me back in Bitcoin. So even though I'm taking sales and I'm making profits to the downside, they pay me in Bitcoin.
Got you.
So that's the beauty of it.
So you're winning it when it goes up. You're winning when
Yeah.
it goes down. You're just like,
Yeah, I can ride the wave. I've been wrong, but like, even if I'm wrong, like if I take a buy, like I took a buy last night, and I woke up this morning and I got stopped out, and I was like, oh, okay, it still got more to drop. That's fine. That's fine. Because I did catch some sales last week. I caught some sales last week to the downside, and those played out fine. So that's kind of how it is. It's the ebbs and flows. The funny thing is, there were a lot of sales that I could have took. There were some sales I could have took on Wednesday, but I didn't catch them. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you don't catch the play that you're looking for.
yeah.
And then that's when you got to be patient.
Yes,
I figured it had dropped a good amount. And on the 4-hour time frame, it was looking like, okay, it could be some buys in this area. It violated that area. So now we down on a daily kind of time frame, looking at where it could potentially go on a daily. So that's where we're at right now. And that low of 33, that's looking like that's in play right now. 33, well, we already hit 30. I think we hit 33.9 last night. So 33, 34, we're in that area right now. So this is a good area to actually take some buys, but I'm still being a little patient. Like, I have one buy on right now, and I think I might be, if I look at it right now, like, I'm down a little bit on that buy, because I think I took it at 34.9. I'm up a little bit, smidget. It's not much, but it's a small position, really small position. Like I ain't trying to break the bank on that. If it goes the right direction, great. If not, I think the most I will lose on this play is like 40 or $50.
Oh, yeah, you're
I
good.
live.
You're
I'll
fine.
live. And in
Yeah.
order for me to lose the 40, $50, it actually has to go down to like 30. It has to go down past 30,000
Got you.
because that's where my stop is at. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm fine. Like I ain't, I just want to get a small percentage in if it starts to rise from this area. If not, I'll look for more sales as soon as it give me another sell.
Yeah.
Take that.
For everybody watching, if you are not as calm as Jakumi is about these ups and downs, you may not want to be a trader.
I mean, the cool thing is, all of this stuff, like I wasn't like this to start. It can all be learned. It's not like a behavior that people are born with. You just have to understand, you have to learn dynamics, and you have to learn the behavior in the market, how the market behaves. And I've been studying Bitcoin for like the last 2 years, and its behavior is it actually moves pretty well with the dollar. Like if you understand like how the dollar's been moving, like as the dollar strengthens, Bitcoin will usually dip. So that's kind of what's been kind of happening. The dollar had been strengthening a lot, and that's why we kind of got a lot of the price movement that you've seen Bitcoin go through. But when I've been looking at the market lately, the dollar had been in a pattern where it should be dropping off. So anytime now, it could drop off, and sky's the limit at that point for Bitcoin. Like if the dollar strength starts to drop off, and so you can see these forces, like the Fed, talking about tapering and making the dollar raising rates on the dollar. If they do that, they're on this tightrope trying to balance the economy, trying to figure out when should they raise rates and when do they keep the interest rates low. But they only mentioned that probably in March they'll be looking to raise rates potentially. That's what they said. So like in that kind of case, that's when you could start to see money kind of move from the dollar into other assets. So those are the things that these macro things that we got to pay attention to too. So for me, it's not all technical. A lot of it is, but I still pay attention to like what's going on in the news and what these monetary policy makers are saying.
Yeah, I know Lamar Wilson, the founder of our BBB. He had created this book, Bitcoin and the American Dream. And, I read it, and I feel like with Cynthia Lummis, the senator of Wyoming, it's getting pushed to all the politicians now, and now the politicians are going to start understanding this a lot more. And so I know in my mind, whether Democrat or Republican, to me doesn't matter. I want a Bitcoin president. Like I want somebody who's like, hey, look, we're gonna do this for Bitcoin, because I mean, to me, that's the only thing that really just makes sense right now is having a max supply currency, having something that we all contribute to. I look at how the entire Bitcoin community, whether old, young, black, white, male, female, whatever it is, like we all seem to be somewhat on the same accord, or at least we're agreeing on basic principles. And so I think Bitcoin is the American dream, the one that they sold us, we weren't a part of, but with Bitcoin, we are. So it's like I'm looking forward to, I'm excited about the next couple years.
Yeah. I mean, I was on YouTube a few days ago, and somebody was telling me about this guy talking all of this noise about how Bitcoin is not a great asset and things of this nature. So I went and looked at the guy's podcast. Well, it's like a little video podcast, I guess he puts on YouTube, because I wanted to hear like what his points was. And like his points were like all over the place, man. Like none of them made sense. And I was like, man, this brother he's uneducated. And the dangerous thing is that he actually says it in his podcast. He says, like, I don't invest. he's talking about like, okay, in order to move Black folks forward, we need political power. But I'm like, powernomic principles teach us that in order to get political power, first you need to have finances. Exactly. You got Dr. Klein right there. You got to have finances, right? Because when you have finances, that's the floor, right? The next floor up after that is like your media and your communications, and then after that you got your politicians, right? Because you got to pay them. You pay them to do what you need them to do. So you're never gonna have political power unless you invest and build that ground floor so that you can have something to pay them. So you need that to build political power. So I'm like, okay, if you don't invest and you're telling people, this and that, that's kind of dangerous, man. Like you're telling people don't do this, but you're not really giving them a reason why. And then you say that you don't invest. So why would I listen to you about investing? Why would I take any investing advice from you? And you didn't even give the disclaimer saying, hey, this is not investing advice like we like to do.
Is this the same guy?
We don't want to give you advice.
Yeah. Is this the same guy who rejected Bitcoin in Black America? There was a guy who he read the book Bitcoin in Black America. It's a Black dude.
He did. Yeah, he did like a critique on it.
Yeah, I was like, what are you?
Yeah, that's that guy. I don't even want to mention his name. But yeah, I was like, bro, like the stuff you're doing right now is dangerous because like we're already behind. How are we supposed to get caught up? Like if we're not investing now, right? If we're not investing now and learning how to invest and where to put our monies, even if there's always a cost. Mm-hmm. There's always a cost to investing, right? A lot of times you take lessons, like we don't take losses, we take lessons. But if you don't get those lessons out of the way, then you can never be a more savvy investor, because the more losses and the more lessons you take, the savvier you become, and then you become a better investor, right? You know a little bit more about where to put your money. But if you never take the chances, then how do you change, go from this level here to this level here? Like you never change, you stay here, stuck. And that's where we've always been as a people. So like that can't be. Like you have to figure out something. There's got to be a way in order to move forward. And to me, investing is the primary force, because the reason I even got into trading is because the two types of the market, right? I saw my portfolio go down. Mm-hmm. And as I saw my portfolio go down, I'm thinking like, what can I do to, like, I know somebody's making money, right? My portfolio is going down. Somebody's making money because I had value here. Mm-hmm. And value doesn't just disappear. Nope. It just moves from one place to another. It's like energy. Energy doesn't get destroyed. It just moves from one place to another. So like, I'm like, if I'm losing value, if I'm losing money, somebody making money, how are they doing that? Like, how are they doing it? I saw the whole thing. Like at this time, and it was critical for me because at this time I was having my second child, right? And my house, we were building a house. And then I was like, then I saw my portfolio just get demolished because in like a matter of days, right? A matter of days, weeks, within like 2 weeks, half of my portfolio was gone, like half of it. I'm like, oh, if this happens again, oof, what can I do? I need to learn like what to do in the event that this happens again, right? So that led me down the path, right? I spent like, I don't know, I spent almost $8,000 learning to trade. 8,000.
What was
Talk
some
about
of the resources?
Yourself, huh?
Yeah. What were some of the resources that you used to learn how to become a better trader?
So I took the first thing I did was I took like a weekend course. It was like $500, like $500. And you know what I learned in that weekend course?
What you learn?
That a weekend is not long enough to learn how to trade. That's what I learned. So I was like, oh, they got my 500. Now they did show me some stuff. However, there was no way you're gonna master that in a weekend. it just ain't. Like you already had to be like pretty good already to really get more out of that. And then they kept it really basic anyway. But I thought they was teaching like, you know, some good stuff. And I was like, oh, this is some good stuff. But when I was done, I was like, man, this ain't enough.
Yeah.
Right. So then I was like, okay, with the stuff that they showed me, I'm gonna take like, you know, I'm gonna take like a year or so. I'm gonna see how far I can get in a year. So I started like watching YouTube videos and, you know, trying to do what I could do, set up me a trading account, you know, set up an options account. At the time, it wasn't as easy as it is now, but at the time when I started, and this was back in like 2009, at the time, I think you had to have at least like $2,000 in your trading account to even think about trading options. Like nowadays you can have a little bit less than less than that. But back then you could only have, if you didn't have like at least $2,000. So now I had to like put up money. I had to get money like that to put in there. But and then I was like, okay, but I don't really know what I'm doing yet.
Yeah.
So then I wasn't really comfortable trading. Took a couple of L's. And then I was like, okay, I really need to like, this was over a course of a year. Then I was like, okay, I need to really learn this from somebody that like knows it. Mm-hmm. So then that's when I started doing more research, because the people that I spent $500 on, what they did was they was like, okay, if you pay us like 10 or 20 grand, we'll show you how to really trade. You know, we'll take you beyond what we showed you here in the weekend. I was like, 10 or 20 grand.
Yes.
That ain't happening.
That sound like that sound like
I was like,
they were taking some L's and they trying to recover some of their money.
I was like, that sounds good, but nah, bro, I don't have it. So it wasn't no way. Like, it wasn't no way I was gonna be able to afford that. So I was like, nah. So that's why I took the year. In that year, I was, you know, putting money to the side, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna find some place that I can learn these strategies. And so then I found like 2 places. Both of them was like $5 grand a piece. Both of them. So like one was $5 grand, the other one was $5 grand. So I contacted them both. I was like, look, I don't have $5 grand, but here's what I do have.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Can you work with me? Yeah. The first company was like, nah, I joined this $5 grand. We need it. You know what I'm saying? We need it in our hand right now. Then I called the second place and they was like, you don't have the $5 grand? Guess what? We'll work with you. What do you have? I think I had like 2,500 at the time, and I was like, I'll give you the 2,500. And then it was like, okay, you just pay us the rest over the course of a year. Mm-hmm. And so I just paid them like I think it was like $250 a month, and plus the 2,500. And I started learning. Yeah. And I started growing from there, and that was good. That was good, man. Eventually, all told, I think with that company, I paid them about like $7 grand in total to learn how to trade in just stocks and options. But
now that you put in all the work, so you paid your initial tuition, you done paid for some work, you done paid for longer one-on-one investing. When do you say that it became worth it? Like how long did it take for you to say, okay, you know what, it was all worth it?
Man, so even then, right after learning how to invest in stocks and options, it was by chance that I happened to, run into a couple of guys, and they told me about, because I had been wanting to learn how to trade in the foreign exchange market, because I had been hearing like the foreign exchange market is where it's at. Mm-hmm. And so by chance, I ran into a couple of guys, and they was like, yo, what do you know about the foreign exchange market? I was like, I don't know nothing about that. What I do know about is these stocks and options. I know about these, but I've been wanting to learn about this foreign exchange stuff. Yeah. So what they did was they invited me to a presentation. I didn't get to the presentation to the end. When I got to the presentation, it was like, we're gonna teach you how to trade foreign exchange, and we're gonna teach you how to trade foreign exchange for like $300. Mm-hmm. I was like, y'all learn. Like $300?
Yeah.
Ain't no way, bro. I just paid $5 grand. Ain't no way. I was like, ain't no way you're gonna teach me how to trade that for $300. Yeah, it was like, yeah, it's gonna be $300 to start. I think $325 to start, and it's gonna be $150 a month. I was like, nah, ain't no way, bro. Yeah, I can't teach nobody that for that amount. That's just too low.
Yeah, way too low.
It was like, yeah, that's what it is. So So I went to try to pay him. And what I did was I used my to start learning, I used my wife's credit card, right? But I had my name on the account.
Okay.
And so when I started learning, I started getting into the videos. I'm like, okay, these people seem like they know what they're talking about. Because remember, I had at this point, this was like 2009. This was like 9 years after I had learned stocks and options. You know, I was doing okay with that. I wasn't super profitable because my stocks and options game, it just wasn't up because I was working so much. Like I'm in retail, I'm working, and so it's hard for me to look at the market, you know, working in retail. Just the hours is different.
Yeah.
So I'm getting into the classes, I'm learning this stuff, and the next thing I know, they shut my account down.
Damn.
And they shut my account. They shut my account down because you know I use my wife's credit card. But here's the kicker. So what my friend says is, oh, you know, once they shut your account down from the credit card, it was like they don't want no credit card fraud. So what you can do is you can pay other ways. And so this is when I became aware of Bitcoin, right?
Okay.
It was like, yo, you know, you can pay for the class, you can start your account using Bitcoin instead. So I was like, all right. So what I did was I had an old Coinbase account from 2017 because this happened in like 2019. I had a Coinbase account that I started in 2017. I never put any money in it because I didn't understand Bitcoin at the time.
Yeah.
And this was actually before it like started going on its real rise when it hit 20,000.
Yeah.
So I had already had an account, but I never did anything with it. So what I did was I went on my account and I connected it to a bank and I bought some Bitcoin. I bought like $330 worth of Bitcoin. And then what I noticed was that, you know, Bitcoin's price was moving. I was like, oh, okay. So I got to use it right away.
Yeah.
Because it's moving.
Yeah.
So I went to go pay with Bitcoin, but I couldn't.
Because the price.
Why? No, it wasn't because of that.
Okay.
It was because Coinbase, when you put money into the account and you buy something, they don't allow you to move it.
Yep.
Right? They don't allow you to move it for like 14 days. I'm like, now like in my class is going, I'm like, listen, I need to get back in this class. So what I did was I just gave, because I had $300 wrapped up in the Bitcoins sitting in the Coinbase account. I couldn't do nothing. Now I'm watching the price go. Now the price is going down.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it go down. And I'm like, I can't even do nothing. I can't move it. It just is what it is. So then I took like another $300. I was like, I'm gonna just get it to you, man. Set my account up.
Yeah.
What I did was I sent it to my brother, my partner, and he was able to set my account up because I guess, you know, he had bought it on there before and he was able to move money a little bit faster than I was. That was the first time I'd ever bought anything on it. So, and it was gonna take 2 weeks before I was able to move it. So that's how it happened. So at that point, now I got like $300 stuck in his account. So like I was like, okay, now I got some Bitcoin. I need to start understanding like what this thing is and how it moves and how to move it around. And it just so happened in the academy that I paid for, they actually showed you that. So that's how I kind of got my first my feet got wet with Bitcoin, is because I was trying to learn, you know, how to trade in the foreign exchange market, but it ended up having to like hold on to that Bitcoin. So now I had Bitcoin just sitting there, and I was like, I need to learn how this thing moves. And that's how the journey began, by accident.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like had I not done that, I don't even know that I would have been looking into the crypto side of the academy, because it was really small at the time.
Yeah. It's funny how we all get started in it. I know it's funny. I had a Coinbase account in 2016, 2017, after that movie Dope came out. I was just so broke that I was actually just trying to get the 25 free dollars. They was like, hey, download the app, you get 25 free dollars in Bitcoin. I was like, I don't care about the Bitcoin. I need $25 probably to go eat or something.
Yeah.
And it like you said, they wouldn't let me take it out.
So
I was like, man, forget this app. I wanted deleting it, forgetting all about it. And then my boy, because it was probably more than like, it was probably me and him trying to get some food, and we were both broke. And he hit me up later. He was like, hey, we're rich. I'm like, we rich? What you talking about? So I check out the app, and the 25 free dollars turned into like 700 something. And so nice. I sold some of that, paid my rent. I thought I was rich. I was like, man, that's cool. I done made
$700 rich.
man, back then, man, $700. Woo, that's some money. Feel me? So I wind up because I was studying for my CPA exam. So in order for me to pass, I was doing well when I was in corporate. And then when I quit to study and to, start my own businesses, my money was just, and it was until it hit bottom and really went past bottom. But then, when Bitcoin hit that 4,000, at 38 and during COVID, I figured out a way to get a little bit in there. And then, I got that PPP and the EIDL and all that. And I was like, well, I've been studying this stuff, so I know it's real. And the whole time, then all of a sudden you got that rise up, December 2020, January 2021. Like, I was like, oh, and then the BBB was taking off. And all of a sudden my business was what was taking off. Forget the Bitcoin. The Bitcoin was the vessel to get my CPA firm going. And then when the CPA firm got going, I put more into Bitcoin. And all of a sudden now they were both just rising up. And now I'm in the process of taking care of all the stuff that it took to get that, make sure I'm paying off all this stuff, making sure I want my whole name, everything just completely clear across every board. So that's what I'm in the process. And so it's good to hear how you got started. Just, I was using it to try to get some food, and then I used it to pay my rent. You was trying to trade Forex, and it was like, hey, this is how I'm gonna get rich. So,
Yeah, man, it's crazy. I always like to hear the stories of folks that how they got started in Bitcoin. And like for us, we wasn't even trying to invest in it. We were just trying to get it to accomplish a thing.
Yeah.
And then ended up having to leave it in there because we couldn't get it out.
That 14 days, man, that had me tripping. I was like, man, I need to eat now.
Yeah, 14 days, man.
Yeah. So if there's anything you want to tell the people, what would it be?
Man, if you're looking to get into trading, remember the couple of nuggets I just gave you, right? Look at it one, take the emotion away. Two, look at it like if I'm investing $1, I'm gonna invest that $1 to make $2 or $3. And then three, do it by percentages. Go for your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% a day and be done. Whatever that percentage is, because a lot of people think that like if I get 1%, and there's no income claim, but if I get 1% in the market, I'm up at least a stack.
Yeah, I get you.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nowadays.
Yeah.
And I'm fine.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
because
that's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Drop
you know
in the bucket.
Like, yeah, that's fine. Like if I get 1% out of the market a day, I'm fine.
Yeah. Well, appreciate
but if you put $100 in there and you get 1%, you only got $1. You don't feel that good.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah.
You don't feel it the same. You don't feel it the same. You don't feel it the same. But but it's once you get the knowledge, the money will come. That ain't nothing.
Yeah.
Like focus on that. Focus on learning that skill. It's a skill to be for certain. But if they focus on learning that skill and get it, sky's the limit.
And then once you get the money, then what's the next move? Because you make all the money in the crypto, you trade and all that. Then what's the next move?
The next move is to get as many assets as you can, because assets are things that put money into your pocket.
Yep.
So whether that's Bitcoin, whether that's real estate, that's the game. The game is to get as much capital as you can, as quick as you can, and put it into assets that's going to keep paying you. Because you're not trying to get rich for you. You're trying to get rich not for your children, but you're trying to get rich for your children's children.
That part.
Right? I always tell people it's not a get rich quick scheme or anything like that, but it is a get rich expeditiously.
Yeah.
Right. So like, because I compare it to, I always say like if you think about like if I work for 2 years, how rich am I after working for that 2 years? Like how much was I able to put away and save after that 2-year period?
Man.
Right. Now think, if you can do the same thing trading, and you can do this for 2 years, 2 or 3 years, and you can just be stacking what you're making, and not spending it, maybe you're still working at your job. Like me, I'm still working. So I'm still getting that. Plus, anything that I invest is investments. Like I don't need that to survive. Like I don't use it to buy, to go eat out and stuff. Like that's an investment.
Yeah.
I keep moving that money and turning that money because later I'll use it.
Yeah.
3 to 5 years from now.
Yeah. And I always tell my people, my clients, to have their long-term crypto into one LLC and all their trading into a separate LLC, which should be completely different from your business LLC, which should be completely different from your personal. So say worst comes to worst, somebody gets sued or something, they can't take all your assets, only a piece of it. So, assets minus liabilities equals owner's equity, and all your assets should be diversified. Your liabilities should be diversified as well. Most people don't realize that. So,
I've got the way I've got my company set up. I've got a holding company. And the holding company owns another company, and in that company has another company.
Yeah.
Right? So
yeah,
it's kind of how I have my it's kind of how I have mine set up. So like I've got an investment company and I've got another company under that, and so on and so forth. So any property investments I get, that's a brand new company.
Yep.
Like each property is its own company.
Yep.
That's the way I learned it. And I learned that from Jay. So I got that nugget from Jay.
Man, big shout out to Jay Morrison, the creator of the Black not the Black White House.
The Black House.
Black House. Yeah. It was cool being down there. I remember watching him when he was like just starting off. It was like on World Star. He would just have like random videos. He'd go to the whiteboard talk, and to see him turn that into, the Tulsa real estate investment to, the Black House, that's inspirational, just seeing somebody else's progress.
Yeah, I would love, man, if I was up there, I would love to like have a space in there because the Black House has the workspace in there.
Yeah.
I've been looking for a space like that down here. We did a workspace down here, but it wasn't Black owned. And I'm like, man, we need to make one. So we'll probably be doing something like that down here soon. Yeah. Have our own workspace.
I'm all for it. What's the best place for people to reach you if you want to be reached at? If you don't want to be reached at, don't worry about it, because we might just be in the back, just post it.
If you want to reach me, you can catch me on IG at Escape the 40-40-40 Trap. So 3 40s. No minuses, no pluses, no underscores, none of that. Escape the 40-40-40 Trap. That's it. If you see somebody else with something else asking you how your trading going, that ain't me, bro, because I don't ask you how your trading going.
He don't care. Look, he's not going to reach out to you.
Really don't.
He's not going to ask you for money either.
I ain't going to ask you for no money because I'm good. I'm good. I don't need no money from y'all. I don't need no Bitcoin from y'all. I need y'all to be building up your own financial game, getting your financial awareness up, getting financially literate, starting to pick up your own assets. That's what I need. I need a group of people that's doing that kind of thing. And then we can come together and do some bigger projects, things like that. So other than that, yeah, I ain't gonna ask you how you trade. It still be tripping me out how people get done like that, man. It's just wow.
That's why we got the scam awareness room with BBB, because there's some horror stories out there for sure.
I'll tell you one young lady, she had something like that happen to her. She reached out to me on Clubhouse and was telling me about it, and I was like, man, I felt so bad. I sent her a little bit of crypto, man. I was like, yo, I'm gonna just give you this because I feel so bad for you because it happened to you like
that. But I can't cover your loss. But
I couldn't cover a loss, but I gave her a little something just to be like, yo, somebody out there is looking out for you. So here you go. Yeah,
man. Well, that's good, man. Appreciate you both from coming out there to Atlanta on tour, as well as thank you for coming on the podcast, man. It's been great. Lots of gems dropped for sure, and now I think everybody who wants to get into trading, now they know it from a real trading professional versus just the Instagram models who are trying to, you know, present some type of life that they probably not living because they don't even show their losses.
Yep. Yep. And I'm showing, man, nobody shows the losses, man, but those losses can be real. But as long as you're learning from them, you'll be fine.
Every single loss in your life is a lesson. So CJ
Mhm.
the Smart Guy, Jakumi Randolph, thanks for tuning in. We're out. Deuce.
All right. Peace.